Excuse me. I'm going to be marking all the vertical measurements. So we'll mark from the shoulder to the bust line. This dress does not have any dart, okay? So I'll just mark shoulder to the bust line, shoulder to the waistline, okay, since this is paper and our paper is limited, I'll just mark okay, so let me take this as my bust line, then my waistline, then the hip line. Okay. I'll just connect that. So this is just an illustration of how to draft the pattern. So I'm going to use the marker to highlight what I have already. So this is the starting line. Then this is the bust line, the waistline, the hip line. So I'll quickly label that. This is the hip, the waist, the bust line, and this is the shoulder line. Okay, so first of all, you take half of your shoulder. So assuming this is half of my shoulder, stopping right here. The sleeve is a cut together sleeve. So after getting half of your shoulder, you now take, you measure the sleeve length. Okay, measure the sleeve length. Assuming this is the sleeve length. This is the sleeve length, and then we add extra inches to that. So you go ahead and add extra inch to that. So what I've said so far, you take half of your shoulder, measure half of the shoulder, measure the sleeve length. Okay, so this is sleeve length, and then you now measure extra, like extra 5 inches, because the sleeve area is going to be ruched. Okay, so after you have done that, you can still go ahead and have a shoulder slope of 1 inch and just slant it towards the neckline. So let's mark the neckline. So this is the neck width. So here is our neck width. So I'll slant all of this to the neck width. And then I'll add seam allowance. So this is the seam allowance for the shoulder, to join the shoulder. Okay, and then for the front neckline, neck depth is not a deep. The front neck is not deep. So when you are cutting the width, make the width up to 4 inches, 4 inches wide, and then the depth can be 3 inches. Okay, so for the width we have 4 inches, and then for the depth 3 inches. So assuming this is my neck depth, and then I use the curve to connect it. For the back, we are going to be using 1 inch. So this is for the front neckline. Okay, I'm still going to use the marker to highlight it again, but let's just finish drafting first. So from this slope, from this part, that this sleeve area that we slope, we are going to determine the sleeve opening. Determine your sleeve opening. Okay, so this does not have a dart, so just go ahead and impute our bust circumference divided by 4 plus seam allowance, waist circumference divided by 4 plus seam allowance, and then the hip circumference divided by 4 plus seam allowance. Okay, so I'm just going to connect all that together. Okay, let me use this part since we are just trying to assume our figures. So this is the actual measurement, and then this is the seam allowance part. So whatever we have here, we just take it down. Whatever I have here, I can go ahead and measure it down. And just connect this. Then if you look at the sleeve, it has a curve at the end part. I'm just going to use this to create that curve. So we are done with the front pattern. I'll just go ahead and use the marker to trace it out so that we can go straight to the back pattern. So this is the outline of the dress. So I'll go ahead and just put front here. So this is our front pattern. FP, front pattern. So I'm going to, so before I cut this out, I'm going to place this on another pattern paper so that we can trace out the side of both the front and the back together, because the sides and the shoulder line, they are the same. It is only the neckline and the zipper line that is different. So I'll pick another pattern paper, and remember, we are drafting this paper on fold. Okay, you have to draft it on fold because it is an asymmetric dress. Okay, so let me just connect this. Let me complete this line to this side before I draft the back pattern. So this is still the bust line, the waistline, and then the hip line. Okay, so let's bring out the paper for the back pattern. So the difference between the back and the front pattern is that the back pattern has a zipper allowance. That is just the difference. And then the neck depth of the back is 1 inch, while neck depth of the front is 3 inches or 3.5, depending on how you want it. So this is so I've placed the front pattern on the back pattern, as you can see. So I'll just go ahead and mark the waistline, the hip line before I cut. I will indicate it here. So make sure your paper is well aligned. I'm just going to mark the neck depth of the back. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out. So let me cut out the neckline first. I'm cutting with the back neck first. Then I'll go ahead and trace out the side. I'm just going to label my pattern again. So this is the back pattern. Sorry, my marker is kind of exhausted right now. So this is bust, waist, hip. I'll also extend it to this side. Okay, so this is still our bust line, waist, then hip. And don't forget we have a zipper allowance here. We have a zipper allowance of 1 inch. So let me fold the zipper allowance. This is our zipper allowance. I'm just using pin to pin the zipper allowance. So let's cut out the asymmetric that we have. Now, if you look at the picture, you see that it started from one side and then slanted to the hip side. So I'm going to maintain this hip line, okay? And then on this waistline, I'll just come down by 3 inches, okay? By let's say 2 inches. I'll come down by 2 inches or 2 or 3 inches, okay? So let's use 3 inches. You come down by 3 inches. And then you are going to slope it to the hip line. You are going to curve it to the hip line. So let me just try and use my free hand. This is going to meet this. So I'm going to cut out this slant part. So there are 2 methods you can use for the down part. You can just get, first of all, take note of the length of what you have here and here, okay? Take note of the length that will complete the dress. So you take note of it, okay? This side is 13.5. This side is 9 inches, okay? Our full length, remember your full length. So whatever you are going to cut out, you should be able to get your full length at that part, okay? And then you are going to pleat. So you can use 3 yards of fabric to pleat this part, okay? Either we pleat or we use slash and spread. This is for the front pattern, okay? So if you are going to use slash and spread, I'll show you what to do. But before that, let's finish with the back pattern. So this is the back pattern. The wrong side of the back should be facing the wrong side of the front. So assuming this is the wrong side of the front, and then this is the wrong side of the back. Okay, let me do it like this so that it will not be confusing. So this is the wrong side of the back, this is the wrong side of the front. So the wrong side should face each other. And then you just place the front pattern. Sorry, let me recut the neckline for the front. I've almost forgot that. So you make sure that the shoulders, that they are aligned. So there's any, remember that this is the back pattern, this is the front pattern, so that's why there's a difference on the neck depth. So you go ahead and trace out the asymmetric side, the asymmetric line, like this. So that is all for the pattern. So to create gathers for the down part, you just use 3 yards of fabric, the 3 yards. So you gather it to fit into it. After you must have joined the 2 sides together. The gathers will now fit into it, okay? And don't forget your length, okay? Don't forget the length, your final length. So you can use this side to determine your final length, okay? So that's how you create gathers here. And then for this upper part, there are also 2 ways you can go about it, okay? You can just use elastic, to runch it. So this is paper. You use elastic. You measure this place, you cut out half of it as elastic, and then you stretch the elastic, okay, when you are sewing, so that when you now finish, it will bring it together like this. It will bring it together like this, okay? And another way you can also do it, if you want it to be a bit fuller, is to also use slash and spread. But I think if you are able to get enough fabric after you have measured your sleeve length and you have enough fabric to add, that one is okay. Just use elastic, to sew this part. Then it will bring it together like this. That is after you must have joined the shoulders together. And then for the down part, if you do not want to use gathers and you want to use slash and spread, maybe you don't have up to 3 yards of fabric, what you are going to do is that you are going to measure this part, okay? You can decide to have like 6 spread, okay? So you just divide it equally. Let's say 2.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me measure what I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And then, sorry, I'm out of marker. Let me use pencil first. You will now cut it out. So you number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is our front pattern. And then you now use scissors to cut through. I don't know if you can see the line. Let me just manage the marker to re-highlight the line. Hey, I'm out of marker. This is not even right, baby. So sorry about that. I actually had another tutorial where I made use of the marker, so the marker is exhausted. I had another drafting tutorial. I'll be posting that on the channel later tonight. Okay, it's visible now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, So I'll just explain what you need to do. What you need to do is just to cut it out. You cut it out. And then you now get another pattern paper. So we are going to be spreading this. This is number 1. Let me just use pin to hold it. And depending on the amount of fabric that you have, you can now determine the spacing. Okay. I'm just using my eye gauge, then make sure you measure. This is number 3. So measure so that you have the same width. So for example, this is 2.5. This is 2.5. You see my eye gauge is correct. Place number 4 there. Number 5. Number 6. And then number 7. So it depends on the amount of fabric that you have. So that by the time you now gather it, by the time you bring it together, you know, you will not be able to fit into that front pattern. You now gather it like this. So you trim out any excesses that you may have. So doing the front pattern. So when you finish gathering it, you see, it will not be like this. So you trim off the excess. Let me just cut this. So what you have done now, you repeat it for the back pattern. You repeat it for the back pattern. So I've come to the end of this live. Sorry, that most of us are busy right now, and I hope you find this video helpful. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, leave comment below in the comment section, and please share to others to also learn. And please subscribe to this channel if you are yet to subscribe. Don't forget, we now have channel memberships. You can also sign up for our channel membership for a token. Okay, this is where I'll call it a day. Until next time, when I come your way again, I remain Joidala. If there's any pattern draft you want us to do, just suggest it in the comment section below and I will look into it. Bye.